Hey friends, I'm coming to you from the edge of the Pixar Pier. Is there room for Pixar Pier to grow? Can it evolve into something much larger, or is this it? Is it a phase one, or is there so much more to go? So what we're gonna do tonight is a little Disneyland design theory as we walk around the perimeter of Disney's Pixar Pier and Disney's California Adventure and see, is there room for more? Is there room for it to grow? So as we work our way in, obviously, this part of the bridge is going to be the way that it is now. Not a lot of room for this to change. I would say it's a safe bet that everything on the bridge will stay the way that it is. One of the details that I miss from the old Paradise Pier is when it said on the back of the sign, "We miss you already." That was such a great little subtle detail of the original pier. Rolling again with my boy Artie, dad of Disneyland, over on Instagram.
How's it going?
We're going to go on this adventure together. I will be the cameraman, narrator, and Art's got his phone out. We're going to look at Google Maps to see, is there more space? Can Pixar Pier grow? Or is this it? Is this as big as it can get? I'd like to think that this is the soft launch. Well, not a soft launch, but that there's potential for more, right?
I think there's a little bit more space.
Pixar is such a big part of the Disney brand family that it could be its own park. So to give it this backside of the pier, you would think that there would maybe be a little bit more. I don't know. People love Pixar. It seems like they would want more Pixar.
Yes, they definitely need more space for Pixar.
So as we come down the way that we just walked, that's pretty tight to Cars Land. But the Incredicoaster has a couple of unused pockets. As we all know, there's an attraction in the center of the other big spin around, but why is there nothing inside of this circle? It's a big open circle. There's got to be some sort of way to get guests in there. There's got to be some way to get an attraction inside of this circle. Or at least, at the very least, plant some trees. As we look at the app, where we're standing at right now, you can see that there's this circle right there, and there's got to be some sort of way to get people inside that circle, don't you believe?
Oh, for sure. There's plenty of room.
I mean, if we can put Emotional Whirlwind in the other, there's got to be a way to put something, at least some plants.
You could put some sort of seating area, somewhere you could hang out.
A dirt patch is pretty on Disney.
Exactly.
So
sure.
I'm thinking that's the first area that we can see a little room for something to grow. I do have to say the mid-century vibes of this attraction is fantastic. I love this little mid-century entry point almost as much as I love Jack Jack's Nub Nubs. Boy, are they good. This water fountain, really, no need for it to be here, which is what makes it epic. A sleek design that's already been refabricated, the first one rusting out. Oh, here's the entryway. Talking earlier about getting something inside of here. Look at this, gates. When we look at this, this is the imagined entryway into there. There's gates here. You have the courtyard. You have this little back path to the restrooms. It is not hard to imagine guests being funneled through this corridor into an attraction that lives inside of this turnaround of the Incredicoaster. I'm definitely putting this down as a space for growth. Now that we've discovered this entryway over here, like where there's a corridor bringing people in, I think this is going to be one of the safest things where we'll see development happen.
Oh yeah, plenty of room in there.
I love shooting these videos too because we can always use this footage as a historical document to do a walkthrough at a later time to see what's changed. Exactly. We're historians. In my estimation, probably the prettiest attraction in Pixar Pier is Jesse's Roundup. I love the critters, I love the murals, and I love the tie-in to Big Thunder Mountain. I mean, it's no King Arthur's Carousel, but a lot of character and characters. My favorite is the skunk who rides backwards. My second favorite is the log with the owl family carved in the back. So everybody loves using the bathroom in Disneyland. I'm not trying to take out the bathrooms, but I'm curious, what exists behind this corridor of restrooms? Is there any space on the other side art for something new?
Really not much room behind it. We got, I don't know what this is.
Oh, we're gonna get into what that is. But where are we at right now? Restrooms. All right. I'm gonna say restrooms probably stay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think there's much room.
All right, restrooms stay. So great potty break. Also kind of a quiet spot every 5 seconds till the Incredicoaster comes back by. Let's keep ripping. This dead-end corridor is here for a specific reason. Cast members come and go, and the show building for Toy Story Midway Mania lives back in this spot. This will probably stay this way. Not a lot of room for growth right here. This tie-in, taking this attraction and tying it into Big Thunder Mountain, great move. I love to see more relationships between the two parks. That being said though, I wish these fountains had a little bit more happening with them. Just a little boring. Leftover from King Triton's merry-go-round. And a detail that we lost is up in these little pockets. The first time around, those little pockets had photos of real California piers. So the old merry-go-round actually had the history of California piers on it. We gave that up for Pixar characters. You decide. Rip it out. Rip it out. Rip it out. Not a fan of this large chicken box. I mean, I do like this little character action, but I don't know. This kind of feels like DCA 1.0. We all know how that turned out. Billions of dollars later. I'm not totally sold on how this feels Pixar.
No, it's too bulky. There's not enough like real pizzazz to it.
Yeah, and also this is where I think it starts to fall apart over here, is that there's mid-century modern, there's Victorian, there's imagination, and this just kind of adds. Yeah, it adds, like these food stands just add too much.
Oh yeah.
Pull it in just a little bit so it feels more cohesive, which makes me wonder what we'll find on the rest of the pier. But so far we found one spot where we think something new could go.
Yeah.
Midway Mania looks great at night. There's one thing I'll say. I would never, ever touch this attraction. People love it. It looks beautiful. It fits in so well with the pier theme. This is one of the things that Pixar Pier has going right for it. One of the absolute worst queues in the park. Getting stuck in that building is a nightmare. There's another food stand. I see them working the characters in, but I don't know. This one's not as offensive as some of the others. I'm surprised this wall doesn't have more pier type posters on it. I could easily envision it with a character up on top of that ridge or 3 big prints, much like what you see on the first bin when you come into Paradise Pier. Carnival games don't feel much like Disneyland or DCA. Kind of one of the things that always separated Disneyland from traditional amusement parks was the lack of the carny atmosphere. But here we find some games. This is sort of an oddity, this succulent. When we look at the app, behind us we have the shops, right? So that would be that building right there. Now, I think it seems as if the shops could either stay there or that building could be used for a facade for something much larger. But there's one thing that I'm really curious about, and the thing that actually inspired this whole quest tonight is the next thing we're going to look at, because it feels as if it's inviting us to imagine something more. Let's check this out. Here we have the remaining 2 games, and bye-bye, Bullseye. And there goes the shops, all shutting down. Another famous Disneyland water ball, Pixar in its theme. But my question is this: what is this for? What could this be bookmarked for? The Pixar Promenade. They had bands playing here, but now it's just begging me to wonder what's next. It's literally a door. It's literally a door to somewhere, but right now it's a door to nowhere.
It's asking us to open it.
This is the thing that got me thinking, where could Pixar Pier go from here? What else could happen? Let's look at the map. If you look at the map, and I've studied it, my question to you is this. When you look at where we're standing, behind us, there's a service road. There's a building back there. If Iger's plan is to use every little bit of Disneyland for the guests and move operations off ground, because think about it, it's so much easier to buy a warehouse elsewhere to put things in or workers in, but you can't send guests and attractions elsewhere. So my question is, if you remove all of that from where we're standing, it appears that these doors could take you in to an attraction. Or if the shops were gone, that could be the facade that would work you into a building, and this would be your exit. One way or another, whether this is an entryway or an exit way, I feel like this was designed with the future in mind. Like this, I feel like, is a bookmark for something bigger.
Oh, you can totally use it. Totally use it. Space.
Obviously, this beauty is going no place fast. It's the real icon of the park. I would say Bing Bong's sweet shop, absolutely safe. But if we were able to put the emotional whirlwind inside of this bin of the roller coaster, then aren't we able to put one on the other side? I have to say, this attraction looks so much better than the original version. We have an entry point, exit point here, where the parade comes and goes from. And then we have this massive, massive restaurant layout for the gardens. The Silly Symphony Swings, which is pretty much an off-the-shelf attraction with a light Mickey Mouse theme. But imagine this area through here. Does it always have to be the restaurant? Sure, it's a great area for seasonal offerings. But is it just a big wall? There could be so much more. back before there was Galaxy's Edge, there was the back area where there was the Big Thunder Trail.
Yeah.
There was the family style barbecue place. And it was mixed use. It was like they would do some Halloween stuff, some Easter stuff. It was kind of just an area where they like tuck stuff in there.
Yeah.
And I see them using this space the same way. So it's not a dead spot. It could just live up to a higher potential.
Yeah.
But I think making a comparison between the two gives you an idea that sure, they're in no hurry, but normally when you see a spot at the Disneyland Resort that's mixed use, that probably means that somewhere there's an Imagineer that's working on a much bigger plan, waiting for a much larger budget. Okay, so my theory with this restaurant is this. When you look at the restaurant, we're pretty much backed up to the edge of the park, right? But Disneyland at some point has the capabilities of going over the roads. And look what's on the other side of the road, Art. It's the hotel. Now, that hotel, a little struggling.
Yes.
And they've always had the dream to make a hotel that you can stay in and be inside the park. You have kids.
Yes.
Would your kids rather stay at that hotel or a Pixar hotel?
They'd rather stay at a Pixar hotel.
No further questions, Your Honor. I really feel that at some point, if this facade would be broken up, maybe one restaurant, but the rest would be an entry point, that it could take you in an amazing walkway, like on Downtown Disney, where you don't know you're going over the road, but into a Pixar hotel.
Yeah.
And in front of the hotel, there's room for more attractions, more storytelling, more experiences. I feel like this, which is pretty much themed to nothing, yeah, it adds culture to the park, but the idea of DCA has been to strip the culture out as the IP comes in.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder, is this right now just a placeholder for more Pixar? We see the jumping jellyfish, which I always say, if that was in my backyard, you'd be like, you should go to my friend Mark's house. This is sick in his backyard. But that is not a Disneyland California Adventure.
I have a 5-year-old. Has never been on that ride. No interest.
I'm also curious, at some point, I don't think we'll take it away, but Goofy's Flight School,
Yeah, I hear you.
it could use a retheme.
Yes.
It could use a retheme to be more on brand. Over here, we have the Grand Californian on that backdrop. That's not going anywhere.
No.
That's probably one of the most profitable parts of the park. But the jellyfish, that could be a Pixar attraction. The silly symphony swings could be, and I don't mean to break anybody's dreams, but the Zephyrs.
It's gotta go.
The Zephyr could go. Sure, it's nice if you're going for a pier type theme, but at some point we got to make a decision. Is this an old pier or is this the Pixar Pier? And design decisions need to be made based on that storytelling, bringing the land together and really giving a generation more of the characters and stories that they want, and I would say that they deserve. Imagine a Pixar hotel peering into the Pixar Pier. With the colors, the signs, it'd be the ultimate backdrop. And quite busy. Do you think we see a time when the word California gets taken out of DCA?
I can see it. If it's gonna go more towards Pixar, that's when you would see that happening.
Pixar, Marvel, like I feel like eventually this park will be known as Disney's Adventure.
Yeah. All the extra add-ons that Disney's added onto their catalog.
All right, Art. We found a space inside of the Incredicoaster. We found what we believe is a door that could lead to a much larger dark ride because there is no Pixar dark ride back here. We have all these off-the-shelf attractions which could be rethemed or put into new stories. And then the idea of a Pixar hotel going over the road would allow a little more storytelling and more attractions.
Oh, yeah. If you're able to be with Pixar characters inside of a hotel and experience those characters one-on-one, that would be amazing. I mean, yeah, right now you're saying you have Paradise Pier. You don't really experience much out of that, but include the characters and have an experience with them. That'd be awesome.
Sell more hotel rooms. That's what I'm saying. So on a rough count, we see at least 6, 8 different opportunities to put more Pixar into the park. My opinion is this, and I always have an opinion, is that if Pixar Pier would go from the bridge all the way up to the edge of Little Mermaid, and if each of these were telling stories related to Pixar, it's a whole different attraction.
Oh, yeah.
And as much as people love Pixar, this would be just as busy as Galaxy's Edge, Fantasyland. It would be loaded with people. Really, only the future knows what's in store for DCA, and they've been spending so much money all around the Disneyland Resort. Obviously, the money's going to go to the Avengers and Hollywoodland, but at some point, I think we'll see more Pixar here, and the future will look a lot more like that than what it looks like now. Thanks so much for hanging out, taking this little lap with us, doing a little bit of Disneyland design theory. Hopefully you enjoyed this. We'll do it again, and hopefully we'll get more Pixar in the Pixar Pier. And your narrator, what a great... Whoa, you can feel the wind. Art, where'd you go?
Right here.
Where are you? A dirt patch is pretty on Disney.
Exactly.
I mean, it's no... Here from the old... What was the other carousel called? King Titan, is that his name?
Yes.
Leftover from King Titan's, or I think that's his name's carousel. Triton. King
Triton. Well,
with the Pixar.
it was already, what was it?
Maliboomer?
No, it was...
Maliboomer. No,
yeah.
Maliboomer was the drop thing.
No, it was the Boulevard Manhattan something.
Yeah, Manhattan something.
Yeah,
Everybody loved Manhattan something. Only the future knows. Look at that light. My God.